Welcome back to Scotting Movies. Today we're going to talk about a biopic. That means a biography that's put into film. So a biopic, in this case, about Charlie Parker, who went by the nickname Bird. And this movie is called Bird. It's directed by Clint Eastwood, starring Forrest Whitaker in the title role, Diane Venora as his wife Chan. It's and it's just we get a lot of musician biopics, and you get a couple of highs, a couple of lows, and greatest hits montage in the middle. That's how a lot of these biopics work. But this is a little bit different. It's Clint Eastwood peeling back the layers of who Charlie Parker is or was, and what does he find? It's messy. There's beauty in there, and there's absolute heartbreak. And so, let's talk about Bird for a little bit. Why that a film that doesn't just sound like jazz, it feels like jazz, spontaneous, chaotic, and raw. So, what is Bird about? It tells the story of Charlie Bird Parker, the brilliant and deeply troubled saxophonist who revolutionized jazz in the 1940s and 50s. Uh, this film follows Parker's rise as a bebop pioneer and his tragic downfall into addiction and self destruction. We watch him as he bounces between the smoky jazz clubs of New York City, the broken promises of home life with his wife, Chan, played by the excellent Diane Venora, and the internal chaos that never lets him rest. The story jumps back and forth in time, not unlike one of Parker's own solos, unpredictable, full of detours, and always leading somewhere emotionally rich. Jumping into the review, um, let's not waste any time. Forrest Whitaker owns this movie. He is so good as Charlie Parker. He doesn't look much like Charlie Parker did, and that's not really the goal of his performance, because it doesn't matter. What Whitaker does is channel Parker's inner essence, his brilliance, his charm, his deep sadness, and his regrets, and everything else. Really takes his soul, and he makes you feel it in every single scene, to the point where it doesn't matter that he doesn't look like the musician. You feel it. You feel him in every single scene that he's in. This is not so much a performance, or it's not so much an impression, but a performance. From the way he slouches into a room to the way that his eyes flicker with exhaustion and regret, Whitaker lives in this role. He gives you the high of Parker mid solo, where he's doing the one thing that he knows he's so good at, doing saxophone and playing it so well, and is lost in the moment. You can see it in his eyes. You can see it in the way that he closes his eyes uh, and enjoys the moment that he knows that he's putting on for fans and for those people that love what he does. And then the next scene, he's lost and crushed with the silence that follows because he's lost in his own addictions of alcoholism and drug addiction and sadness and depression. The scenes with his wife Chan are so devastating, so quiet, so human. Honestly, it's baffling that Forrest Whitaker didn't get more awards than he did in this movie. This is one of those performances, that the kind that stays with you for days, because you see what he has done in this film, and it's legendary. um, the other performance that I want to talk about is Diane Venora as Chan, his wife. She puts on a performance that's so heartbreaking because she loves her husband, but understands that he is going through addiction that he can't get out of by himself. And not only that, but he doesn't really want to. He is his whole life is music and addiction, and doesn't leave enough room for family. And so she's quietly devastated, and she is so good in that role. Diane Venora is. Um, Now, this is once again, I said it before. This is directed by Clint Eastwood, and he directs. You know that Clint Eastwood, if you didn't know this before, he is a jazz aficionado. He loves jazz, and so he directs Bird with this eye of a jazz lover, and the restraint of someone who knows the story doesn't need to be embellished. He's not here to glamorize Parker. He's not here to make a film about him that says that he's the best thing since white, sliced bread. He doesn't make you fall in love with the myth of him. He's here to show you the man behind the music and what happened to a man that was so young and so talented that fell into deep depression and fell into alcohol and drug addiction. Um, the film structure is nonlinear. It bounces between moments in Parker's life, like memories flickering in and out of focus. It's disorienting at times uh, because Parker's life wasn't linear. It was scattered. It was volatile. It was hard to hold on to. Uh, and can we talk about the cinematography for a second? It's really dark at times. It's in shadows uh, and sepia tones. It looks beautiful, but it's heavy. It's like you're struggling to see what's going on, and after a while, you realize that what the movie is doing is forcing you to live through the haze of depression, the haze of addiction, the haze of living in the night. I mean, he slept through the day and he lived in the night. That's where he performed. That's where he lived in moments of addiction, of battling in the middle of the night. That so he lived through the night and he slept during the day, a very nocturnal kind of lifestyle. And Jack N. Green cinematography is perfect for that moment. The music in Bird isn't just a soundtrack; it is the film's heartbeat because the score is composed by Charlie Parker himself. He's using the original saxophone recordings from Charlie Parker and syncing them perfectly with Whitaker's on-screen performances, and it gives you a lot of authenticity for what's going on. You're not hearing someone imitate him; you're hearing Parker himself. Every solo has a dual purpose. It entertains, but it also tells us something about where he's at emotionally. Jazz becomes a form of communication, not just with the audience, but with himself. The chaos in those bebop runs mirrors the chaos in his head. And just like Parker's life, the music soars 1 second and then crashes the next. What makes Bird hit so hard isn't just the music or the performances, it's the way that it humanizes Charlie Parker. This could have just been another cautionary tale about a tortured genius. We've seen plenty of those, especially when it comes to music biopics. But Clint Eastwood doesn't do that. He shows us Parker's humor. He shows us his tenderness, his love for his family, even when all of those things are being screwed up by his own emotions and his own depression and his own addictions. The relationship with Chan is the emotional core of the movie. Um, this is an honest relationship between two two people who love each other but are stranded at far ends of a spectrum. One trying to live his life, what it means playing for the crowds, but what it also means being a prisoner to his own demons, and the other trying to do anything she can to help her husband out of the addiction, even though she knows that she can't do anything about it. It's his responsibility to work his way out of that, even though she wants to help so much. When Charlie Parker did pass away, there's a scene in this movie near the end, and I'm not spoiling anything. Everyone knows that Charlie Parker passed away. There's a scene at the end where the the person comes in to call the police and call for an ambulance and says that there's a 60-year-old man here that needs help. Chan is there waiting for him, and she says he's not 60, he's 32. It's really heartbreaking to see what the his own demons, his own addictions have done to him, have made him look like a senior when he was middle age, even on the lower side of that. Bird isn't excuse me. Bird isn't an easy watch. It's long. It's 2.5 hours long. It's heavy, and sometimes it deliberately keeps you at arm's length. If you stick with it, you're going to get something rare. A film that doesn't just document a life, it interprets it like a jazz solo turned into cinema. Forrest Whitaker gives a great performance of a lifetime. Eastwood directs with empathy and passion. This isn't a movie that wraps everything up neatly. It just plays, and when it ends, it leaves you sitting in silence. The final grade that I'm going to give Bird, um, as a solid A. It's not for everyone, but for those who meet it on its level, Bird is a haunting, heartfelt tribute to a genius, both the musician side and the man behind him who burned too bright and too fast. So, have you seen Bird? Do you think it hits the right notes, or was it too heavy a tune to follow? What do you think? Do you know about Charlie Parker? What do you think about him? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you dug this breakdown, tap that like button, hit subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss another deep dive into the next movie that I'm doing. Until next time, uh, keep watching movies. Don't be afraid to feel the silence between the notes. Thanks, everyone.